but I can build it real quick because I think I just have to take one of these images like this.
You might want it for the 10 too.
Yeah. And then I'll just turn off like the... and turn on reserved, I think. Yeah. Oh, it's looping, that's fine. Let's hit pause on it. Or it's loading it. Okay, do I have to have an alert title for the mobile alert? Yeah, okay.
Surprised there's a flash flood warning for Fort Smith when they've had less rain than Fayetteville did, according to this.
What should I put on this optional alert title? Weather update? How's weather update, right?
Yep.
Weather update, tracking storms and heavy rain. Look good? Yeah. All right, here goes. We're tracking showers and thunderstorms out across the area. These storms have been strong in some spots throughout the course of the day today, and we're still watching some pockets of rotation here and there. Want to show you kind of what's happening, and then we'll talk about what happens next as we head into the rest of the overnight hours. So we do have severe thunderstorm warnings, which are in effect for portions of the River Valley, mostly it's LaFleur County. That's really it as far as the severe weather threat goes. Now, if you look from north to south, though, you can see the rainfall still heavy. We have some flash flooding, which is occurring in a few spots. Let me show you what's happening here in the River Valley, where we're watching this cell that's moving through LaFleur County. Now, it's not severe in Fort Smith, even though it's really coming down. We've got a lot of heavy rainfall. This blue box here indicates a flash flood warning. So be very careful out there. Flash flooding could be an issue for us as we make our way out and about late this evening. And of course, nighttime flash flooding is even worse. All this stuff, though, is not severe. We've also got this cell that's out around Ozark. It's also not severe, but it'll have some brief gusty winds as it makes its way eastward in towards Clarksville with some gusty winds. Now, the thing is, most of this is going to be over with here in about the next hour or 2 hours. It'll end pretty quick. Now, in LaFleur County, though, we do have the severe thunderstorm warning. So let's show you what that looks like here in LaFleur County. Here's a closer look. This was issued based on damaging winds. What I want to show you, though, is if we go over to velocity and we look at the wind speeds, there's actually a little notch here. See this outflow boundary moving to the south from north to south right here? It merged with that line that's moving in. There's the line, there's the outflow boundary, and you can see right in there's a little bit of a weak pocket of rotation. So this is one area that we've been keeping an eye on here for about the last hour or so. We'll see if this thing tightens up. Sometimes these things can produce brief tornadoes in these little small areas. That's around Yerby and Worcester. So we're looking at it right there on 271 southwest of Poteau. Again, just to reemphasize, there's no tornado warning with this, but these outflow boundary and these cell interactions sometimes can create little pockets of rotation. So that is something that we're concerned with heading into the next hour or so as we move through. And let's see if I can jump over to this radar. It'll look a little weird, but what I'm looking at here is side by side. You can see that other rotation here near Worcester. It's not showing a classic hook or anything like that, so it would be all rain wrapped should anything happen or develop out of that. Again, the velocity image is still showing it there as it moves off to the east, actually southeast. Let me zoom out a little more here. So we're watching that little pocket. That's the only area that's really spinning. Again, that's south of Poteau near Worcester, and that's moving south into central LaFleur County. And then once this moves into Scott County and then out to the east, that's it. We won't have any additional showers or thunderstorms out of this thing for the rest of the overnight hours. So we go back to a wide view. If you're wondering about northwest Arkansas, we're finished. They even canceled the watch for parts of northwest Arkansas. They're not going to be issuing any severe thunderstorm warnings or watches for that area of northwest Arkansas for tonight. So we're watching that as these things move through. The winds are out of the north in Poteau, lots of lightning and heavy rain with it. Meteorologist Dax Clark's also been tracking these showers and storms. He's going to be taking a closer look at what happens next with this and what's going on now.
Yeah, Gary, so we've been dealing with a lot of showers and thunderstorms for really the past several hours. Northwest Arkansas, we're just seeing a lot of heavy rain, a lot of lightning and thunder as well. You can see, man, it's coming down along the Interstate 49 corridor, especially coming into Benton County. You can see we've seen between 1 and 3 inches of rainfall, even some reports of street flooding out there. That's going to continue. The back edge beginning to work towards the south and east. But again, you can see some of those brighter colors here, those yellows and those oranges. That's anywhere between 1 and 3 inches of rainfall. I noticed an accumulation of about 3 inches of rain to the north of Fayetteville, and anywhere in northwest Arkansas, really. We've seen most of us between that 2 and 3 inch mark. A lot of those streams and creeks are going to begin to rise if they haven't already. A lot of street flooding out there as well. No flash flood warnings in effect for northwest Arkansas. It's a little bit different story, though, a little bit farther towards the south. You can see this area here, this kind of corridor stretching from southwest Johnson County back down towards the Fort Smith area. This is the axis of heaviest rainfall right now, and we've got a flash flood warning in effect for far western Franklin County. It includes everyone from Mountainburg down through Cedarville, in parts of Crawford County, including the Fort Smith Metro as well, getting down into Sebastian County. And that's with, again, this area here that's going to be producing rainfall rates, in some cases, greater than 2 inches per hour. It looks like we've got a new warning down for Scott County now, too, Garrett, as we take a look at this line. This is the line, too, that's got the damaging winds in LaFleur County. It's going to continue to move towards the east. It looks like the National Weather Service in Little Rock actually going ahead and warning on this. And notice, too, again, at times we've seen some areas of some pockets of weak rotation, especially with the southern end of this system in LaFleur County. Now, I haven't really been able to see anything sustained and no tornado warnings with this, but 50 to 60 mile an hour wind gusts will be possible as this moves toward the south and east. It's going to begin. It's already raining and windy out there as all get out from Heavener up through Poteau. This will continue to move towards the south and east, eventually affecting all of you over in Waldron in the Scott County area. This warning runs through 9:45 in LaFleur County. And Garrett, do you know how long this one in Scott County goes through?
Yeah, I can tell you right now. I'm looking at it. Let's see. This one's going to go until 10 o'clock tonight for Logan, Polk, Scott, and northwestern Montgomery County. They issued on 60-mile-an-hour winds and half-dollar size hail.
Yeah, and that's really been the concern throughout the afternoon. We've seen hail with a lot of these storms and those gusty winds. And you can see, too, on velocity, you've got that area, that pocket of wind, 50 to 60 miles an hour, stretching from near Poteau back down towards the south and west. And that little kink in the line just to the south of Poteau, again, that's where we've been seeing some pockets of rotation from time to time. As far as the rest of the region, again, another area here just to the south of Heavener. A couple of areas here and there of some spin out there, and that's going to be the case. Nothing sustained, though. That's been the good news. We haven't really been able to see any of these storms really take hold and produce any tornadoes. The tornado warnings we've seen today have actually been out to our west. But again, the bigger concern right now is those damaging winds. And again, we can't rule out a brief spin-up tornado as this line continues to exit the region. But the good news is, once it gets past Waldron and Scott County, we're done. So it's raining cats and dogs in the Fort Smith Metro. A lot of street flooding going on. We've actually got reports of some street flooding also in parts of the Sallisaw area, some roads being closed there. That's going to be the case not only for you guys in Sallisaw, but also probably areas down a little bit farther towards the east. And this has been one of the areas, too, right in the middle of that flash flood warning. This flash flood warning is going to go for the next couple of hours. The good news is the heaviest rain now beginning to work towards the east. So we're drying out a little bit across parts of Sequoia County. You can see that clearing line, too, from northwest to southeast, not only in the River Valley, but we're already seeing some drier conditions in northwest Arkansas, too. So for some of you in Benton County, I think, what time is it now? 9:15, about the next hour or so. We're probably going to begin to dry out a little bit more in Benton County. It's still loud out there, nothing severe though. Continuing for that flash flooding threat of the street flooding. And then the bigger flooding concern will continue to be right down the Interstate 40 corridor. This is also moving over into Clarksville. So for you guys over in Johnson County, it's coming. It's knocking on your door. You're probably hearing it out there. I know Mom was texting me earlier asking, well, where are the storms? Well, Mom, if you're watching, they're right here. They're knocking on the door in Clarksville. Nothing severe though. A lot of heavy rain, a lot of lightning. Winds, too, they could be between 30 and 40 miles an hour out there. And you can see here showing up again, this area of wind, 30, 40 miles an hour, working its way towards the east. That's going to impact everyone up and down Highway 21 from Ozone down through Ludwig and then moving into the Clarksville area as well. It's also going to impact you guys in Lamar. So everyone in Johnson County can expect that rain and wind to pick up here right now and for probably about the next hour or so. Be watching for that flash flooding threat there as well. But again, it's done. Once it gets past Clarksville, once it gets past Scott County, we're done for the evening. You can see, too, the main line has really begun to push its way towards the south and east. It's picked up speed just a little bit over the past couple of hours. But again, in the short term, to reiterate, right now, the primary concern is in parts of Lafleur County. You can see how it's beginning to kind of bow out too, just to the south of Poto. And that's where the damaging wind potential, I think, is greatest right now. So you can see over the past couple of hours, you've kind of got that arc. It kind of looks like a backward C shape as it's beginning to work towards the south and east from Poto down through Heavener. Now, though, the concern is going to be from Heavener points toward the south and then over toward the east, getting into parts of Scott County. Garrett, have there been any new reports in National Weather Service chat?
Nothing right now. They're still looking at some of the same things that we're looking at, and I can take this off here in just a second and go back to a one-panel view of this to show folks what we're looking at here off camera. This looks like the strongest part of that storm, like you mentioned, is right there across the part of Lafleur County and central Lafleur County, and then also southern. So this is a look at Storm Analyst here. I'm going to zoom out. You can see the warnings in yellow, and then you can also see where the storm is here in Poto. What I've been watching is where that little red dot is, and I know it doesn't look like much here from what you're seeing, but if we were to actually look at the storm relative velocity on it, you can see it right there. There's actually, there's a little spin there, and that's that outflow boundary intersection where if I zoom out a little more, it might make more sense, but you can see that outflow boundary moving south and then kind of that storm catching up with it there.
And it really was kind of starting to spin up a little bit. You can see off there, the whole thing kind of just that backwards comma head type of shape, rotating a little bit.
Yeah, it is. I don't see anything on there that looks like a tornado. In fact, before you stepped off camera, I'll show you, I was zooming in on this area near Monroe. It looks like that pocket of rotations along County Road 110, and it looks like that would be the tornado debris signature. There's nothing there. So it's definitely not on the ground, and you wouldn't see it anyway because it looks like it's all wrapped up. But there is that little area of rotation here. And then back down to the south, I don't see any other areas of rotation, but we still have quite a bit of wind that's coming in, it looks like.
Yeah, that definitely looks 50, 60 miles an hour as it moves through parts of southern Lafleur County. The bigger concern now, too, is going to begin to be towards the east. So for those of you in Waldron, down through Y-City, definitely a heads up. Severe thunderstorm warning for the next hour or so. 60-mile-an-hour wind gusts. And again, like Garrett was saying, it's not overly impressive on radar, but we can't rule out an isolated tornado with some of those kinks in the line. But right now, so far so good. And we've really been good for most of today in terms of the tornadoes, Garrett.
Yeah, it looks a lot better. I think there was one tornado they had in Oklahoma, and then yesterday, of course, there were tornadoes in Kansas. But a closer look at this really doesn't show all that much here in central Lafleur County. If we want to take another look at it with velocity, we can look at where that little weak pocket of rotation is, right at that intersection of those boundaries. I think it's right there close to 59. Let's see, we'll stop it right there. It looks like it's right there. So there's just a little bitty pocket of rotation right in here. That's probably the only place that we're watching now, just southwest of Trestle Ford and east of Howe. And again, that's the intersection of that boundary from the storms moving in from the west and then the leftover storms that are moving in from the north, or the outflow boundary from the north. So that is one thing to watch. That's the only thing to watch, really. The purple colors, though, probably do indicate some very strong winds in the on the east side of Poto out towards Hartford. We're probably getting some really strong winds around the Gilmore area as well. Probably 50 miles an hour, maybe even 60. I think some of the gusts in northwest Arkansas were upwards of about 40 miles per hour. Down to the south, it is interesting to see how this thing is taking shape in southern Lafleur County here. And just stopping this and looking at any kind of rotation in this, it doesn't appear that there's any out there.
Maybe a little bit of
right
weak,
there.
maybe
Yeah.
trying to spin up a little bit just to the west of Highway 270 there.
Yeah, and I was looking too at the distance. We're actually shooting the radar beam there. It's about 3,300 feet above the ground, so we may not be getting those low-level tilts on that, but it does have a little kink in the line. You can kind of see the bend right there, so there may be some weak rotation in that area.
And the good news is that's far southern Lafleur County out there too. So that's going to begin to move towards the east, and say that's good news because it's about to be on out of here. So not too much longer with these warnings, and we should be able to sleep good tonight. Just going to be dealing with some rainfall for the overnight hours, and most of this is going to begin to clear with drying conditions for the overnight. And tomorrow, honestly, looking pretty good for the afternoon, especially, Garrett.
Yeah, I was taking a look too at rain totals, and you mentioned this earlier, and I'll pull this up here on the map. Fort Smith, I'm pulling it up right now. In the last, let's see, 4, 5, 6, 7, they've got about 7/10, 70, 3/4 of an inch of rain just since 9:03. So
wow.
you've got a lot of rain, almost
15 minutes?
Yeah, 15 minutes.
Yeah.
You've got nearly 3/4 of an inch of rain. So these rain rates are really excessive with this. And there's a flash flood warning that's already in effect, and we're probably going to get more flash flooding because of this. And these are actually delayed a little bit as by the time the computer processes it. So you can see in northwest Arkansas how not uniform it is. There's some darker, browns in there that are oranges. And then in the River Valley, we're still getting those rainfall accumulations starting to pile up. So in the Fort Smith area,
more varied down here too.
it is. Yeah, it sure is. So I think over time we're probably going to get more of those, and I'll see if I can animate this and show you how this has moved on with time.
It's going to work toward the east, so don't you guys worry. Over in Clarksville down through Paris, you're also going to get a quick 1 to 2, maybe even 3 inches of rainfall, and that's going to cause the potential for some flash flooding. Now the good news is we didn't see the crazy rain totals just across the border in southwest Missouri near the Joplin area, points toward the south. Some areas here saw 3-4 inches of rain in an hour, totaling up in some cases more than 6 inches. You can see here just north of Neosho near 7 inches of rainfall. Thankfully that stayed just to the north of Benton County up into Missouri.
Yeah, good news for us there. And you can really see that little strip too. It's kind of interesting to see just how thin that little red line is, but that's the area that had the heavy rain totals, and it's much less uniform as you drop farther to the south. Here's another look at it again in motion, and you can see these showers and storms moving to the south-southeast. Logan County, we're going to get these things moving through, some heavy wind and rain. I don't know that the severe threat's that high in Logan County, but it will continue to be high in Scott County and southern LaFleur County, as well as Polk County, as all these showers and thunderstorms move through the area. So we're going to continue watching the storms here for the rest of the evening and for the overnight hours too. And if we see anything that looks a little suspicious, we'll be sure to break in with the very latest on TV or again online for the latest weather information. As it stands now, you can see all these showers and storms moving in. I do think that they're going to move out fairly quick, though. They'll probably be out of the area by 10:30 or 11. It may still be raining, and you may still hear thunder. But as far as the severe threat goes, once that cell that gets past Waldron gets into Yell County and then into central Arkansas, this should all be finished up for the day with some much cooler